And you mentioned equity release, which is obviously growing in popularity. Um, there's a long history of myths and mistruths. Um, what are the biggest myths and misunderstandings that you encounter, and how do you kind of address those?
I think the biggest myth with regards to equity release is that it's a rip-off. People seem to be frightened but not necessarily know why. And a lot of that is lack of understanding and lack of education as to what the product's actually there for. Equity release is there principally to release equity from people's homes later in life for whatever you want to do, whether it's to provide an income, to do property up, to invest in property, whatever it is. But it needs to be for the right reasons, for the right circumstances.
And Liddle Parrot's a member of the Equity Release Council. What does that actually mean in real terms for your clients?
So essentially, there's a variety of standards that are put in place to ensure best advice. So it's mainly about being as up to date as we possibly can be with current products and procedure, and also being as up to date as we possibly can be with regards to how best to take advantage of what's out there in the market for the client.
And you've talked about how you sort of help the client to find the right product. Um, are there any kind of specifics that you'd sort of discuss with a client who's thinking about equity release, especially when the family's involved or inheritance factors might be involved, and how do you kind of address those sorts of things? Because obviously there's a reasonable length of time that somebody's going to have this kind of borrowing.
Yeah, involve the family. Whether it's first-time buyers or all the way through to equity release, I think family will always have an opinion in these things, and I think it's important to include them. Um, if you have an elderly person or somebody who's into doing later life lending, I think it's incredibly helpful for everybody to involve their beneficiaries, whether that's sons, daughters, whoever that is. I think information and education, being open with information, is incredibly helpful. It allows people to then make the right decisions.